This is a 64 Lincoln convertible, and I wanted to demonstrate some of the tack strips that I made for it. The base here is made out of industrial V-belt, is what it's called, which looks like this. It's cut to size. After installing it, by the way, you'll notice I did put some caulking on here. It's actually a gasket maker. I'm not sure how necessary that is, but I figured it would prevent any rain or wetness from getting up inside. So this is the industrial V-belt, and these screws are drilled and tapped into the aluminum top frame, as are these, drilled and tapped. There's a little step here where I trimmed it so that it would be more consistent flow from one height to the other in that step that exists within the frame. Back here, this strip here, these two outer ones were tapped because beyond the sheet metal there is some more aluminum frame, and aside from these two, all the rest are sheet metal screws essentially. And this one here is also industrial V-belt, the same size as down here. It seemed to fit pretty well. Let me show you some of the stock size that came out of that channel. This is the stock size tacking strip that came out of that channel that I saved for reference. But this industrial V-belt seemed to fit fairly well, and I think it'll work well. And then on the second and third bows, I used fan belt. I just found I had a fan belt laying around that just happened to be the right size, and I used epoxy and epoxied that in there. And this one is epoxied in, and I also stapled into this frame, the rear frame piece. I'm not sure, I forget what it's called. And then on the top, or in the front, there are two different tack strips. I used the original channels. I just cleared them out of their old tack strip that was contained within the original channels. I cleaned them out and put in more fan belt that seemed to be a good fit, and then I cut or sanded it down so it was essentially flush with the metal channel. And this front one is a different size. It's smaller, and I did the same thing there. I think I'm going to have to use 1/4-inch length staples in this front one and this one here. And then I believe that 3/8 inch would, or maybe even 1/2 inch would fit here, but I'm going to use 3/8 on all the rest as far as the length of the staples. Yeah, I do have a new wire harness for both sides. And anyways, I'll try to get a close-up of it. Interestingly, my frame had a crack in it. It was still together and working well, but this crack, I noticed it after I took the whole thing apart, so I had that TIG welded because that's aluminum. Yeah, this channel here is where the wires will go. And this little piece here, it looks like it retains this metal channel that screws to the backside of the rail. I have no idea what it does, but I screwed it in place nonetheless, and out of curiosity I'll figure out what it does, but I think it's not too necessary. I've seen other cars without it, and I don't know, I just put it back the way it was.